Do you ever go from feeling unstoppable to wondering if you even know how to play this game anymore? That's been me this PQ season, so let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? BDST Clint here, and today we're going to talk about being a loser. Not a loser in life, but a loser at Star Wars Unlimited. So, this video is a result of an unfortunate losing streak I've been on, and I'm just wanting to get my thoughts about it out in the open. So as a lot of you know, I went to Galactics, the Galactic Championships, and did reasonably well. I finished top 64. Coming back from Galactic Championships, I was feeling sharp, I was feeling confident, I was feeling in rhythm, and I felt like I was riding this heater after winning a set 4 PQ and then top 64 at Worlds. Set 5 PQs, I feel like I've hit a bit of a SWU rut. And I'm still in that rut a little bit. The decks, I knew inside out. They weren't giving me the results I expected. My confidence has started to shake a little bit. My self-doubt has crept in, and I've been having a real challenge playing this set. So as I said, the first few PQs after Galactic Championships didn't really go my way. I was sticking with Sabine ECL. Everyone knows I play Sabine ECL as my main. Wasn't really working out for me. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So I know this deck. I have experience with this deck. I've won a PQ with this deck. I took it to Galactics. So I've put in all the work for Sabine ECL, but after Galactics, starting to compete in set 4 PQ season, the wins weren't coming consistently. Some of the matchups that I'd have lined up well, and I'd have a really good day, but then there are other days where I didn't get the matchups I needed at all, and even though I feel like I played really well, I had solid play, the results I had this season didn't really reflect it. And so when you go on a bit of a losing streak, it really starts to eat your confidence in how you play the game. I started asking myself some things like, is it me? Am I just misreading the meta? Or is this just how things happen sometimes? We fall victim to variance. So there are some notable events that I want to talk about when we're going through this thought process, and the first one that comes to mind is the Adelaide PQ. It's one that really stuck with me. I ran Sabine ECL again. It's my go-to deck, my comfort deck, and I was still feeling confident with it. I attended the Sydney PQ 2 weeks earlier. Didn't have a great day with it. Just didn't have a good day. And I had a good day in Adelaide with Sabine ECL. I made it all the way to the finals, with my only loss in Swiss being to Max on Hantu Blue Force, which, not a great matchup for me. And then I made it to top 8, made it all the way to the finals, and then had to face Max again on his Hantu Blue Force deck. And knowing that I had to face Max in the finals, I knew I was at an instant disadvantage. And during that top 4 matchup, knowing I had won, I'm sorry, Max, but I was really rooting for Amy on Kylo 5 Tarkentown to win that matchup, because I know that's a matchup going into Amy on Kylo 5 Tarkentown would have really gone my way there. But you played really well, you beat her, and we met in the finals again. It's hard going into a matchup that you know that you have a severe disadvantage into. And if you've watched the finals on the baddest stream from the Adelaide PQ, you'll know a lot of things went really, really right for Max, and a lot of things didn't really go really well for me. So when this happens and your opponent manages to curve out really, really well or draw really, really well in both games. And you try to do everything to combat that. But with the combination of the matchup disadvantage and their hot draws, basically, you can sit there feeling a little bit helpless, and you're watching a match that you really wanted to win really slip away from you, and the defeat feels a little bit more crushing because you feel helpless in that sort of situation. And I'll be honest, the Adelaide PQ loss has really stuck with me. I know it's a game. I know we shouldn't take it super seriously. We're just old men playing cardboard, playing a Star Wars card game. But this one really stuck with me. And it wasn't just because I lost. It was just in the way I lost. It was the frustration in the matchup and things not really going my way in the matchup. Just as I said before, feeling a bit helpless, and that leads to a bit of self-doubt in your ability creeping in, and you start asking yourself the questions like, was it the deck? Was it my preparation? Or was it just the way that the matchup stacked up and the draws that happened against you, and that's what happened. So I talked about preparing for a tournament, and preparing for a tournament isn't just about picking a deck and showing up. There's a few things. There's reading the meta. There's figuring out what decks you're likely to face. You're deciding which deck fits your style. And then there's the hours of playtesting, grinding into different matchups, and learning different lines and interactions, so you can really hone your skills and knowledge of the deck that you choose to take. But I think what a lot of people forget about is the mental side of preparation as well. Staying focused, managing your nerves, and being ready to adapt to the board state or the game as it's happening. And even when you do all that, you read the meta, you prepare your deck, you grind the matchups, you're feeling good, you're mentally focused at the time. The matchup variance and just draw variance can still hit you hard when you get affected by that. And this leads into the Mega Games PQ on the weekend, because this is what I experienced. And there's a bit of a pre-story to this that involves the Perth PQ. So leading into the Perth PQ, I knew the meta over there was very aggressive. There's baddest team member Luke Williams, who is the best Sabine ECL player in Australia. I don't think anyone argues that point. But in general, the Perth meta is very, very aggressive. So rather than take Sabine ECL myself, which my confidence was shaken in Sabine a little bit, I wanted to take a deck that I could take that could take advantage of the aggressive meta there, but also take a step back and play something that I enjoyed playing, so I could be a little bit more relaxed. So a lot of people know that I'm big on Obi-Wan Kenobi 5 from the Legends of the Force set, blue. The deck is great. It has plenty of restore. It has the ability to make favorable trades with the smaller aggro units, being able to utilize Obi-Wan's ability. So this deck allowed me to leverage my knowledge, allowed me to slow down and play a bit slower, and the pressure that the aggro decks apply, I was able to just slow the game down a bit, and I felt like it was a good choice for myself and going into the Perth meta. So the Perth PQ was a 2-day event. I played Obi-Wan 5 blue both days, and day one, the deck did exactly what was written on the box. I had 4 wins and 1 loss on the day. It handled the aggressive decks really well, and it surprisingly handled the really grindy blue-green decks really, really well as well, with your Calorins, your U-Wings, etc. like that, just being able to reload the board, and Yoda just being able to take over the board towards the end. But Unfortunately, on the day of the PQ, the next day, those results didn't carry over. The deck played competitively, but I think what really let me down was a lack of preparation with the deck itself, because I was so wishy-washy with my deck choice. So after Adelaide, the disappointing result in Adelaide, the lessons learned from the Perth PQ, I knew I had to change my approach. I still personally think Sabine wasn't going to cut it anymore, especially going into the Mega Games PQ. The deck itself had limits against the field that I was expecting at the Mega Games PQ. So after some soul searching and looking at some results from the sectors in Portland, I decided, and some prompting from Blake actually, I decided to switch to Han 1 Green. And when I tell you I locked in on that deck, I locked in on that deck. I spent about 30 hours over 4 days of playtesting, grinding Carabast, and just grinding online with the competitive team and other members of the baddest community. And by the end of the 4 days, I was feeling really confident. I felt like I had a good grasp of the deck. I felt like it was the right deck for the meta that we were expecting. I built up the experience and the reps, and going into the PQ on the Sunday, I felt good. I felt prepared. I felt confident. But Sunday did not go as expected. Matchup variance played a huge role in what happened on Sunday. The medical, like Scott, baddest team member Scott, Inferno 5, we both played Han 1 Green. We both thought it was the best deck to take to the Mega Games PQ. And the decks that we were prepping for were like stuff like Cad Bane Tarkin Town. What else was there? What else were we? It was Cad Bane Tarkin Town. Can't remember what the other one was that we were playing. Oh, sorry, Han 2 Blue. Stuff like that. Stuff that wasn't like auto win for Han 1 Green, but you had a lot of game into it. But Boba Data Vault as well. And there were a lot of matchups that you could skill gap as well, with people that didn't know how to deal with the aggressive nature of Han 1 Green. As I said before, I got screwed by matchup variance on Sunday. Some of the rounds lined up better than others. Like I ran into a Sabine round 1, which I felt like I was favored into. But then I matched Scott round 2 in the mirror, and we ended up drawing that, which put us both down into the draw bracket, which would be usually control decks, and we did hit control decks. Unfortunately, I hit a Kylo Data Vault, which both Scott and I agree is not a great matchup. And if you watch his top 4 matchup versus the Kylo Data Vault, he only narrowly pulled that one out. And he ran into the Obi-Wan Kenobi Twilight blue deck, double blue deck, which Scott was just able to get out infies and just keep bouncing everything, and he wasn't able to maintain a board. And then he just managed to curve into that bracket that worked in his favor, whereas I got the wrong side of the draw and just hit decks that, not that I wasn't unfavorable into, but I got a bit unlucky on variance on the decks. So this leads into, like, even though I feel like I made the right choice, and I wouldn't change a lot of my plays that I made on the Sunday, losing under all the circumstances that I talked about just earlier still felt terrible. I woke up on Monday morning still feeling really, really terrible. It's losing like that. It's when you have no control over it. Really shakes your confidence. Like I've talked about it already, about stuff like that, shaking your confidence, fueling your self-doubt. making you question all the decisions that you made or your approach, even when you know in the back of your mind the decisions you made were solid. So this is the reflection part now. This is the reflection. This is where we talk about the lessons that we can take from being a loser. You know, I think the main lesson is that you can read the meta correctly, pick the right deck and execute it well, and matchup variance can still affect your performance, and we just have to accept that that's how competitive play works. Confidence in anything, and especially in this game, isn't only built on wins, it's tested by the losses that we take, by tough matchups, by events that don't go our way. What really matters is focusing on what we can control. Your prep, your deck knowledge, your lines, your decisions, and just basically accepting that some things will always be out of your hands. So after going through the slump, I've come up with a list of stuff I would like to focus on moving forward, and especially moving into the set 5 meta. Number 1, prep and experience matter. Knowing your deck inside out gives you the confidence to go into an event and crush it. And if you don't, well, you just don't. Number 2, read the meta, but accept variance. Some matchups will be tougher than others, no matter how well you play. Number 3, reflect without rumination. Review your choices honestly, but don't let losses crush your confidence. Number 4, reset your mindset, take a breath, take a break, and come back fresh. So, you know, if we've had a loss in between a round, step outside, get some fresh air, have your favorite beverage or whatever, have a snack, reset, shake off the loss, move into the next round. And number 5, focus on what you can control. You can control your deck choice. You can control your preparation. You can control the lines you take, the decisions you make. You can't control how the field lines up. So the Mega Games PQ taught me that even when you do everything right, results aren't guaranteed. The key is how you respond, reset, and grow from it. And there's just a side point that I want to make in relation to this, especially around the Mega Games PQ and a couple of the players there. I don't know if this is a quote that's already out there, but I kind of just came up with it off the top of my head. But consistency breeds success. Players like CJ, baddest team member CJ, who's been playing Boba for it's all of set 5, and I think for half of set 4 as well. And Adam, local to us on P at Red. Really, and finally seeing their success. Like CJ finally won a PQ. He won the Mega Games PQ. Adam has been grinding away at P at Red for months now, and he got a top 4 result at the Mega Games PQ, and I'm stoked for them both. But it really shows that just sticking with a deck, putting in the practice, and reaping the positive results over time. And that's a lesson that I'm going to carry forward. So just to finish up, losing sucks. Losing streaks suck. But they're all part of being a competitive player. You'll face tough matchups, you'll face variance, and these are the moments that test your confidence. And the final key takeaway is the challenge isn't to never lose. You can't win everything. And that's something I have to remind myself all the time, is that you can't win everything. You can't be perfect at a game. All you can do is reflect, reset, and keep moving forward. Eventually, the preparation and the experience will meet with the opportunity, and the wins will come along. That's me for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. This is BDST Clint signing out. Deuces.